Hello, everyone, and welcome back to LETS, Learning English Through Stories. My name is Dan.
And I'm Jenny. Today, we're talking about one of the most useful things you can master in English, describing your day and your daily routine.
It's the perfect topic for listening practice because the language is used everywhere. When you meet someone new, they always ask, "How does your typical day go?" Or, "What do you usually do?"
To answer fluently, you need two core tools. The first is the present simple tense. We use it to talk about facts, habits, and things that happen consistently. Your everyday life.
And the second tool is adverbs of frequency. These are words like always, usually, or rarely. They add detail and show how often you do something. Using these words correctly makes your English sound much more natural.
So, listen now as Dan and I talk about our routines. Focus on the main ideas and how we structure our sentences to talk about time and frequency.
Let's start with my morning and afternoon. Listen carefully. My mornings are quite structured. I tend to wake up pretty early, around 6 a.m. on weekdays. The very first thing I do is make myself a strong cup of coffee. I can't really function before that first mug.
I'm the opposite. I tend to wake up later, around 7:30 a.m. I rarely set an early alarm. So, coffee first for you. What happens after your energy boost?
After coffee, I always try to fit in some exercise. I usually go for a run in the local park. I never skip it. That run is a non-negotiable part of my morning. After my quick shower, I head back and start work at 8 a.m.
That's a productive start. My mornings are more flexible. I often check news headlines while my coffee is brewing, but I try not to get too lost in it. I start working later, around 9:30 a.m.
How does your afternoon tend to go?
My afternoons are often focused on specific tasks, like working on new projects. I typically have one or two virtual meetings in the early afternoon, which take up a good chunk of my time. I always try to take a short break around 2 p.m. to stretch my legs.
I do the same. I always try to tackle my most important tasks before 5 p.m. and finish up my main work by about 5:30 p.m. We both dedicate our afternoons to focused work, though your morning is much calmer than mine. We've covered the busy part of the day. Now, let's look at the evening. Jenny, how do you manage to transition out of work mode?
That's the most important part. Once I finish up work around 5:30 p.m., I physically step away from my desk to clear my head. I rarely order takeout during the week because I enjoy the preparation of simple meals. After dinner, I focus on how to wind down.
Wind down is a fantastic phrase. It means to relax after stress, like slowly stopping an engine. What does winding down look like for you?
It means I dive into a good book. I never watch fast-paced TV shows or action movies because they stop me from relaxing. My evening is about getting quiet.
That's smart. I think I need to incorporate more of that. When I finish up work, I tend to immediately dive into planning for the next day, which makes it hard to relax.
You need to learn how to call it a night. Call it a night is a casual phrase that means you stop all activity and go to bed. I call it a night around 10:30 p.m.
I see. So, you structure your morning to be flexible, and you structure your evening to wind down and call it a night at a consistent time.
Exactly. It's about building consistent habits and using natural phrases like clear my head and call it a night to describe them. Now let's summarize the language we both used.
Now, let's quickly synthesize the language we used. We want to make sure you catch all those useful details that make English sound natural.
We consistently used adverbs of frequency to describe our habits. Remember the scale, always 100%, usually or often high frequency, sometimes or occasionally medium frequency, and rarely or never low or zero frequency.
Listen again to how those words add detail. I always try to fit in exercise versus I rarely set an early alarm. Using those gives your sentences color.
And remember the power phrases we integrated. We use this to describe a strong habit. I tend to wake up early. Dive into. This means to start something quickly and with great focus. I dive into my emails. Tackle tasks. This means to deal with a specific piece of work. Wind down. To relax after stress, I wind down by reading a book. Call it a night. To stop all activity and go to bed.
The key to improving your listening skills is recognizing these phrases instantly. When you hear them, your brain shouldn't have to translate. It should just understand the meaning immediately.
The best way to achieve that is to listen to this episode again, maybe while you're commuting or exercising, and focus only on the rhythm and the natural speed of these power phrases. Keep that listening continuous.
All right, that brings us to the end of our lesson on talking about your day. We've given you the essential language tools to sound fluent and confident.
Thank you for trusting LETS with your learning. Remember to listen often. Consistency is the secret to fluency.
Keep practicing, keep learning, and we'll talk to you next time.